Hello everybody, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world, and a very warm welcome to you all as TCR Europe is in action once again for our final weekend of 2024. Ahead of us is the most important qualification session of the year. Why, I hear you ask? Quite simply, we have three drivers in contention for what has been an incredibly hard-fought 2024 title chase. They are Franco Girolami, Aurelian Comte and Ignacio Montenegro. Coming into this session, Girolami has a slender 5-point advantage at the top of the standings from Aurelian Comte, and then a little further back, the outsider, some might say, in the title chase is Nacho Montenegro, our rookie champion, the reigning TCR South America champion. He's 31 points in arrears. Nothing less than pole position and victory will do for the Argentinian driver. But again, it's a small matter of a very challenging qualification session. Free practice was a very tight affair indeed. New driver for this weekend and current leader of TCR Spain, Jenson Brickley, went quickest in free practice one yesterday morning. And then it was that man Montenegro that topped the times in FP2 a little later in the evening. The weather was much like it is today. It is wonderful here in Valencia at the circuit Ricardo Tomo. We have got beautiful weather conditions, perfect weather conditions, some might say, for the racing action. And in a few moments' time, we'll be going with the first part of our qualification session, the last qualifying of the 2024 season. For anybody who's new to the world of TCR Europe, a big welcome to you all. Just to explain briefly, this qualifying will be split into two parts. We'll do Q1, and that will settle the grid for 13th on down. The top 12 drivers will go through into Q2, and that's where we look to secure the top 10 placings. 1st to 10th in Q2 will be reversed for race 2. 11th and 12th in Q2 will start 11th and 12th in both races. So it's going to be vital for our teams, and more importantly for the three at the top of the standings. Points are paid out at the end of qualifying as well. We came into this with a 5-point spread between the top two. It's certainly not going to be that way when qualifying comes to its conclusion in around an hour's time. My name is Paul Jeffrey, and I'm absolutely delighted to be back in the box and to welcome you into this qualifying session. I've missed the last couple of races, but I've watched them on the TV and they have been exceptionally frantic. And I'm sure Valencia will serve up another very special event indeed. And of course, with the championship decider here this weekend, there's a lot of pressure, there's a lot of stress amongst our drivers. Everybody's trying very hard to keep the pressure off of their shoulders, but when the green flag waves, that's when it becomes very difficult indeed. We're a couple of minutes delayed, as you can see. Some of the support activations are getting back down pit lane. They've had a red flag in their qualifying session for the Caterhams. That's knocked everything on a few moments, but we'll worry about that one in a minute. It's a good opportunity to give me the chance to introduce a few new drivers for this weekend. We've got 18 cars starting this final race of the weekend. The usual players, I'm sure, you are very familiar with. We've also got some new drivers for this weekend. The Baldan Group by ComTU, the Cupra VZ for Jimmy Clary from France, a name we know very well in TCR Europe. PMA Motorsports, we welcome Nicholas Taylor, the first Canadian driver in TCR Europe. He's third in the TCR Italy standings. A very, very talented young man indeed. Taylor will be in car number 17, driving the Audi RS3 LMS. And then, going a bit further down the list, Victor Fernandez, another name that returns to TCR Europe aboard the RC2 Junior team. He's in the Audi RS3 LMS as well. Sandro Palazzi, we welcome back. He joined us at Vallelunga, and PMA are entering another Audi for Sandro, the Italian driver. We'll be looking for a good result. Then Daniel Teixeira is racing for the JT59 racing team in the sole Hyundai Elantra and TCR. Great to see a Hyundai back on the grid, of course, in TCR Europe. Daniel will be looking for a strong result. And then it's TCR Spain championship leader, Jenson Brickley, in a self-entered Cupra VZ TCR for Jenson Brickley Racing. Make up our guest entrance this weekend. 18 cars, as I say, on the grid, right on cue. Here are said cars coming down pit lane and getting ready to begin the Q1 session here at the Valencia circuit Ricardo Tomo. Weather conditions, as you can see on your screen, are absolutely perfect for racing in this Q1 session. going to be a very important session for our 3 championship deciders. There's also a teams championship that can be concluded at the end of this weekend's racing. ALM Motorsports very much in the pound seats at the top of the standings. And then looking at the Diamond Trophy, Felipe Fernandez has a healthy lead over Nicola Baldan. There's Baldan, you just saw briefly at the top of your shot. So Felipe Fernandez showing good pace this weekend, it has to be said. So he'll be hoping for a strong overall result and at the same time to wrap up the Diamond Trophy for himself. Brickley then, in the new Brickley car that we see, the Cupra, the new Cupra, on home soil, of course, in Spain. And he's very much at the head of the pit lane. And the first driver out as the green flag waves, Giovanni Scamardi. You can see just behind in the second of the 2 SP competition cars. Scamardi will be looking to help his teammate Aurelian Comte at the top of the standings. But he's got to get a good qualifying position first. And this is tricky for our drivers. This is where things could unravel, some might say. If you don't get a good qualifying, you don't get the points it pays out, which is the first problem, of course, and you make your life exponentially more difficult coming into the race. And this Valencia circuit's the first time that we've raced here in TCR Europe, around 4 kilometres in length, 14 corners, opened in 1999. It's a wonderful circuit, great facility. The drivers all saying very positive things about it. There's a couple of key overtaking opportunities, but it is a relatively condensed lap. The views as a spectator are spectacular. You can see the whole track from above the pit building and through my commentary box window, in fact. And it's going to be a very intense lap in the touring car, especially in racing conditions. And we all know very well indeed, in any form of racing, either real or virtual, get to the front of the grid and that takes yourself out of the firing line of any potential dramas. And that will be the key today, I am absolutely sure. First job, get through into Q2, finish inside that top 12 to progress. And then once Q2 kicks off, it is all about pure pace. Compensation weight update, Girolami is the heaviest car on the grid with 40 kilograms aboard. Here's Montlau Motorsports Cupra. 30 kilograms are in Victor Fernandez, Ignacio Montenegro and Aurelian Comte. So the 2 championship protagonists, 10 kilos lighter than the Argentine Girolami. 20 kilos for Levente Lasonche, 10 kilograms for Felipe Fernandez, and then 20 kilos also new driver ballast for our new entrants, of which Jenson Brinkley is one. And he's the first driver to cross the line, elects not to come in pit lane and swap the tyres around. But Jenson immediately in the 2.46, going for a time. Of course, racers in TCR Spain in 2024, leads the TCR Spain Championship standings as well. And Jenson Brinkley, also a winner in TCR UK. He absolutely knows how to go quick, does Brinkley, and I'm sure the British driver will be looking for a strong showing on European soil. There he is, then our first opportunity to take a look at this circuit, Ricardo Tormo circuit. Fabulous facility, of course well known in the world of touring cars, but very much the first time TCR Europe have ventured on to this wonderful ribbon of tarmac, and Brickley will be hoping for a good result. He's used to the climate in Spain, at very least, having raced over here. It has been a very, very warm couple of days here at the circuit. Pre-practice 1, of course, and 2 held in very similar conditions. So we've got some good data to the teams coming into this qualifying. Let's have a look, see if Jenson Brinkley can alight the timing screens on this first lap, or if he's going to elect to dive into pit lane and swap those tyres over, as does become relatively standard practice. TCR touring car racing. Not so for the Cupra driver though. He's looking to get an early marker on the board. Doesn't feel the need to do so. This final section of corners, very easy to lock up the tyres through there. The car's always wanting to run off the racetrack. Brickley comes over the line, of course, goes quickest. 42.854, but that will absolutely not be enough to be in the sharp end of the grid. Good lap here in TCR Europe. Is in and around the 1 minute 40s, 1 minute 40 flat or so. Montenegro with a 40.709, in fact, my apologies, in FP2, and that's the kind of times that we'll be looking for to give yourself the best shot possible in qualification. Jimmy Claret goes quickest then with a 41.8 off your camera. Claret, welcome addition back into the world of TCR Europe. Great to see the Frenchman on board once again. Baldan Group by ComTU in the Cupra. Cupra being a very popular brand, it has to be said. And there is our Hyundai. It's fabulous to see Tcr here as well. He jumps down pit lane. Good to see Hyundai back again, of course. And then ALM Motorsports. This is a team that are looking to wrap up the team's championship this season if they possibly can. And of course, their man is very much leading the charge. Nacho Montenegro. Very, very strong debut season in Europe. Already wrapped up the rookie competition. He'll not be too interested in that one. Big eyes on the prize he'll be looking for. Nicholas Taylor, a rookie actually, some rookie competition for Montenegro this weekend. I've got a few rookie drivers in the field. Of course, Taylor being one of those drivers. Santiago Concepcion, of course, for Goat Racing is here again, racing on home soil. And Jensen Brickley as well, another one of those drivers that will be keen, it has to be said, on doing something about the domination of the rookie class, it has to be said, by Nacho Montenegro. There is Nicholas Taylor in the number 17. Very, very nicely put together car, of course. PMA Motorsports. Very strong team, race over in Tcr Italy. That was the team that have got this car up to third in the standings for Taylor in 2024. So he's having a very, very strong season. I'll be hoping that confidence he'll be able to carry forward into this weekend of racing. Looking to put a good show in the young Canadian driver. Very polite young man, very nice young man. Had an opportunity to chat to him a few times in the paddock this weekend, and he's very excited to be here in TCR Europe. Very excited to put himself up against some of the best TCR touring car drivers anywhere in the world, it has to be said. Taylor's doing good work as things stand as he crosses the line now. Will that improve his lot in life? Not quite. That was more of a sighting outlap. He's on a push though now as we run down to T1. So easy to go for track limits in T1. Got to be very, very cautious. If you run a little bit too wide, the curbs are the racing surface, but it's very easy to carry too much speed or be a little bit greedy on entry as well and pop over the pit lane. There is Tcr getting ready to go back out as well. That is the JT59 racing team with Daniel Tcr, the Portuguese driver. Very happy as well to be participating in this weekend and looking to put on a good show. They've had a bit of a difficult time, it has to be said, in the practice sessions, so he'll be hoping that all of those problems can be put to bed for this qualified and give them the best chance possible getting through in the Q2. Very, very offline there for the Cupra. As we wing our way back, this is Brickley. Currently, as things stand, Jensen, 4th position. He's managed to whittle the time down to a 42.3, but he's a good 0.5 of a second away from where he needs to be. Aurelian Comte is the quickest driver. And as I say that one, Nacho Montenegro crosses the line with a 40.6. That's more like it for Nacho. That's more like the kind of pace that we're expecting to see. The Honda driver, absolutely the top of the field. Ruben Volt joins him on the provisional 2nd position as well. Levente Lasonche in 3rd. So it's a Honda benefit in these opening few minutes of qualification. Montenegro set at a 40.6, 0.6 of a second, 6.5 even ahead of Ruben Volt. So very, very good start to the day for a team looking to wrap up the team's championship title and hopefully for them keep themselves into contention for the overall Drivers' Championship as well with Montenegro. No doubt Volt and Lasonche will be supporting their Argentine teammate over the course of this weekend in a bid to not only help him take the victory, but take away the all-important points from his championship contenders behind. Doing great work thus far, 1st, 2nd and 3rd quickest. We continue to follow Jensen Brickley. He's down to 7th position now. Not really lighting the timing streams up, it has to be said, at this moment in time. And there we go, into pit lane for Jensen. We'll do a little tyre change, talk to his engineers, plug in the laptop. There is Nico Baldan. Very wide through the final corner. Stays on the track though, does Baldan. There are the times now to the left-hand side of your screen, just behind him. We saw the Cupra. There is Nico Baldan now. Currently leading TCR Italy. So another driver that's having a dual programme this season. It's coming on very, very strong is Nico Baldan. He's not set a representative time just yet. So we expect him to... there's a mistake. There's Levente Lesonche. You don't want to be doing that in Q1. It has to be said, Lesonche just demoted to 4th position on the timing screens. They ain't going to be going nowhere else after that one. That is an ALM Motorsports Honda Civic that looks well and truly beached in the gravel. That's going to bring out the red flag. Yes, it does. Red flag's waving. Everybody's going to slow down to a crawl and back into pit lane while the marshals here at Valencia extract these stricken Honda Civics. That's a real shame for Levy. He's been quick all weekend along. Certainly had aspirations of being in the conversation for that pole position fight. And he'll not like that one iota. Franco Girolami, very fortunate to nip in just before that red flag and go second quickest of all 6/10 in arrears to Montenegro. So Girolami, one of our championship challengers, leads the championship heading into this one. Aurelian Comte in 5th place as well. So all 3 of our potential TCR Europe champions, as things stand, are in the top 5. Of course, top 12 is what matters for Q1. Have a temporary pause though in proceedings. 10 minutes and 42 seconds left on the clock. It's of course been stopped. There is the red flag for confirmation on the LED boards around the circuit, and that is why. Real shame for Levente Lesonche. Hopefully we get a little replay to see what exactly happened to get that ALM Honda in the position it is. But the end result is the same. Lesonche will be out of this session, I dare say. Certainly in the top 4 as things stand, but that's going to be quite the challenge to extract that ALM Motorsports Honda, and hopefully the young Hungarian driver, there's not too much damage on there and they can get that one cleaned up and back in working order for race 1 a little bit later on this afternoon. So then, temporary pause in proceedings. Let's have a look at the standings. It is Nacho Montenegro who's our quickest, a 14.453. That's the quickest that we've seen the TCR Europe driver go this weekend. So good stuff for Montenegro. Franco Girolami is the 2nd quickest as things stand from Ruben Volt. So it's Honda versus Cupra versus Honda in the top 3 positions. Levente Lesonche is 4th on the timing screens, but absolutely stationary in the beach here at the Ricardo Tomo circuit. Aurelian Comte in 5th position, the SP competition driver, doing a good job thus far. Jimmy Clary, very impressive on his return to the championship, has the 6th fastest time. That's a very nice job for Clary. And then stablemate, or teammate should I say, in terms of team at least, is Nico Baldan, 7th position Baldan, driving of course for the Baldan Group by ComTU. Same team as Clary, different car though. Baldan in the Audi, Clary in the Cupra. Then we run a little bit further down, Victor Davidovsky, Jensen Brickley, Nicholas Taylor, Giovanni Scamardi and Victor Fernandez are the current drivers that are double going to Q2 as things stand, but with 10 minutes on the clock, almost exactly the halfway mark. I do think that will change when we get into green flag conditions again. And look at that, the fans watch on. We've got an autograph session a little bit later on today, so plenty for the fans in the beautiful Spanish sunshine to do here at Valencia. We'll take a little look inside the Audi cockpit, the PMA Motorsports car of our Canadian driver, Nicholas Taylor. Great to have Nick with us this weekend. He's doing a very solid job in the first portion of qualifying, 10th place thus far. The PMA driver, there is Brickley. Team dropped the car and he's keen, as he was at the start of Q1, to get himself a good position in the queue for pit lane. Great work from the marshals here at Valencia, as always. Big shout out to the Orange Army all around the world, and here in particular the circuit Ricardo Tomo. Very fast work to extract Levente Lesonche's car from the gravel and get us back under racing qualifying, should I say, conditions once again. The clock restarts, almost hitting the 10-minute mark, and everybody's back out again to have another roll of the dice. And remember, it has got to be the top 12 that our drivers are looking for to progress through the Q2. If you're 13th, that means you start both races in 13th position, and that, trust me, is a very frustrating place to find oneself at the end of qualification. So you don't want to be on that bubble. And currently the bubble is occupied by Victor Fernandez, but there's Ruben and Felipe, the 3 Fernandez brothers, are all on track as well. Santiago Concepcion down in 15th. He'll expect more, I dare say, as will Victor Anderson. Not spoke about Victor in the MAGP Lincoln Co. Got a podium. Last time out did Victor Anderson, the Swedish driver. He'll be looking for something not yet set a representative lap, but we do expect to see Anderson a little bit more towards the pointy end of the grid once qualification comes to its close, or Q1 at least comes to its close. There is confirmation of the times thus far. All 18 drivers have been on track, but all 18 drivers have yet to set a representative lap. Sandro Platti, Anderson, both only had out laps. Daniel Tcr has had a lap, but he had it cancelled on account of track limits. He'll be looking to get that Hyundai somewhere up the order as the session continues to count on down. Here we go then, we're keeping our eye on the GOAT racing car of Santiago Concepcion. He runs through our shot racing on home soil, the Spanish driver, youngster, developing very nicely indeed, it has to be said. Really showing some good signs of being a very, very good tin-top touring car driver is Santiago. Very new into his racing journey, it has to be said. But he's impressing many drivers, both with his attitude, his demeanour, but also his on-track performance. There is Jimmy Clary. Well, hey, there's a very sideways Audi indeed. Good bit of car control. A little bit too leery on the loud pedal with cold by rear tyres. And I do think Fernandez will have been woken up somewhat by that one, it has to be said. But good car control from the Spanish driver. And there's a very leery moment as well. That is Santiago Concepcion just dipping a wheel over onto the gravel. Ain't a lot of grip on the gravel, and Santiago, again, got away with that one. But you don't want to be pushing the limits too far too long. Otherwise, you're going to find yourself in a similar position to Levent and the Sunshade did. And that is not what you need in qualification. 7 minutes, 39 seconds left in Q1 then. And let's have a look as everybody's winding their way around this beautiful circuit. There is the Monlau Motorsports Cupra just gone below your shot. And that is Victor Anderson in the orange Lincoln Co. that we spoke about. Anderson still looking to set a time. Johannes Kumade, the Belgian driver, in support of his SP competition teammates. A very similar livery, which is always frustrating. Very similar livery Cooper behind Jimmy Clary. Different team though, of course. Lovely colour though on that Cooper, I must admit. There is Sandro Platti as well, just going through the stream. Brickley makes his way through. Slow-moving Johannes Kumade. Kumade, the Belgian, on an out lap. Jensen Brickley very much pushing hard. Traffic though is not where you need at this sort of circuit. If he jumps off, does Santiago, comes down pit lane. So he's not liking the balance underneath his car at this moment in time. This is the Audi though of Sandro Platti. First time we've seen this one since Vallelonga. Good to have the experienced Italian driver back once again. Doing good work as things stand in 14th position. So Sandro certainly finding a little bit of speed out there on the racetrack. That is the Hyundai of Teixeira. The Portuguese driver pushing hard. He's had a difficult practice session, not quite there yet in terms of pace. 1 minute 44.998 last time around, so 4.5 seconds away from the pointy end of the field. But every time Daniel gets out on track, he goes a little bit quicker as they find more balance in the car, more confidence behind the wheel, the team and driver on this circuit. So hard working is Teixeira at this moment in time. There is the number 59. Let's have a look. Being very cautious, giving a lot of distance between himself and the curbs. Not a push lap at this moment in time. And here is Sandro Platti again. Top of the screens. Nacho Montenegro. He's the quickest driver with a 1 minute 40. Be interesting to see how our championship contenders are. Nico Baldan moves up into third place. Aurelien Comte moves up into fifth position off your screen. So Franco Girolami currently in second. Nico Baldan, very good job. And there is our current championship leader. Will that stay the same after qualifying? We do pay points even. Put your teeth in, Paul. We do pay points out for quali. 10 for first in the combined results, 7 for second, third for fifth. So it is important to get a good position, or as gooder position as humanly possible. And Franco now winds up to start his time lap. Our 2022 TCR Europe champion, reigning TCR Italy champion and current points leader. Franco's having a fantastic few years of touring car racing and is still doing marvellous work in the Monlau Motorsports Cupra. On home soil is team. Franco feels very, very comfortable here at Valencia, Circuit Ricardo Tomo, when he'll be hoping for a big day in qualification. Montenegro needs, realistically speaking, to keep himself in the best place possible. He needs to beat out his Argentine rival. Q1, of course, not so important, but it is the first time you're going to lay a marker down onto the racetrack to show your rivals just what you're capable of. And Girolami locking the inside. As is his wont at this circuit, of course, lock tyres are going to become a bit of a theme. It has to be said during both races. It's a very, very tricky circuit to get the nose turned in. Sector 1 was green for Girolami. Coming across in a Sector 2 green again, a 49.9, so a little bit further away from Montenegro, but Girolami certainly on a push lap and looking to see if he can close that 0.6 of a second gap at the head of the field. I'll keep my eye on the number 72. There we go. This is Girolami now through the never-ending left-hander into the final corner. So easy to snatch a break, so easy to run deep. Can Franco improve? A 1 minute 41.071 is his current time. He's going to cross the line in a few moments' time. A 140.8, he does improve, but still 0.4 of a second away from Nacho Montenegro at the top of the field. So Girolami showing some more pace. The 40 kilos in that car not helping, of course. For Girolami, more and more comfortable in the fact that he's going to be in that top 12. And with 3 minutes and 10 seconds left on the clock, Ruben Fernandez is the man on the bubble in 12th position. Nick Taylor drops down into 13th place. Kamade, Pilate, Victor Fernandez, Tcr and Concepcion are the drivers that are not going to make it through to Q2 as things stand. So Ruben Fernandez, he is out on track, I do believe, the Diamond Trophy driver. 1.2 seconds. He's just improved, in fact, his time as Ruben Fernandez, a 141.681. Doesn't change his order in the time in stack, but it does improve his time and give him a little bit more breathing space to Nick Taylor in 13th. Nick, 0.2 away from getting in to the all-important top 12 positions with 2 minutes and 28 seconds left on the clock. Ruben Volt is now our fastest driver, so Ruben vaults to the top of the standings. Haha, thank you very much. From Nacho Montenegro, the two Hondas are currently first and second quickest. Nico Baldan almost loses the front end of his car due to the pit entry. It's a little bit spicy, it has to be said, entry and exit of pit lane. But Baldan hopefully didn't have to lift on that occasion. It's not going to compromise his ability to go quickly on to the next lap. There is the Baldan group by Conti Audi. Resplendent, it has to be said, in that livery. Nico dropped down a 5th position as things stand, but he's very much on a charge. To see the experienced Italian driver pushing hard in the venerable Audi, still a very competitive proposition. Giovanni Scamari, he's in 14th place, so Giovanni has got work to do and traffic for good measure. That's not going to help his cause. Is the Belgian driver. He'll be hoping to get into Q2 for himself firstly, but of course to then be support for his championship challenging teammate Aurelien Comte. He's in pit lane as Aurelien, so he thinks he's done enough to make it through into Q2, and I dare say he probably has. Can Baldan improve? He's in 5th place. He doesn't need to push particularly, I don't think, into this session. In fact, he's very, very slow in Sector 1, so Nico Baldan certainly up against it at the start of this lap, but I don't think he'll be too worried. More about learning for Q2. He's not under threat of dropping out of the session. Nicholas Taylor is still the first of those drivers that will not be going through into Q2. Taylor's got 0.3 to find for Ruben Fernandez. So that's going to be a hard ask, I think, for the Canadian driver. Just 40 seconds left on the clock, of course. If you start your lap before the checkered flag waves, you are entitled to finish your lap as well. It's been very important to get out on the track if you're still one of these drivers that's trying to squibble your way through. And there is Baldan, as I suspected, down pit lane. No need to do any more for the Italian racer. He's firmly secured his position in Q2. Ruben Fernandez is still the man on the bubble. Nicholas Taylor is out on the racetrack as well. Reasonable first sector for the Canadian driver. Taylor's going to be pushing hard. There is Jenson Brickley. He's in 9th place. He's relatively comfortable. 0.3 between himself and Ruben Fernandez in 12th. So I think Brickley is going to make it through. Santiago Concepcion from nowhere goes 7th quickest. That is a fantastic lap time by the Spanish driver. Concepcion up in a 7th place. Thank you very much. Q2 is my friend. That bumps Ruben Fernandez down. He's behind his brother Felipe Fernandez. So, oh, there's somebody off the track. Is that Sandro Paletti? It looks very much like it. That looks like an Audi to me. As we zoom in, yes it is, the experienced Italian driver very, very far away from the racing surface, and that is going to be the checkered flag. That's going to put pay to anybody else's efforts to get through into Q2. So Ruben Fernandez will miss out. Nicholas Taylor, Giovanni Scamardi, Sandro himself, of course, Victor Fernandez and Daniel Teixeira failed to make it through. Santiago Concepcion will be counting his lucky stars. The important lap was put in at the very last opportunity before Sandro Paletti beaches the car very firmly in the gravel. Victor Anderson, a relatively solid session as well. He's 11th, not where he wants to be in terms of pace, but he has secured that Q2 spot, which is exactly what he wants to do. So several cars now coming back into pit lane. We have a small intermission between sessions, and then the top 12 cars go out onto the grid again. But of course, Sandro Paletti's machine needs to be extracted from the gravel. Hopefully the gravel doesn't go all over the racing surface and provide a few surprises. But good opening session there. No real big hitters missed out in Q2. Nicholas Taylor, I think, will be a little bit disappointed with 14th position, such has been the pace that the Canadian driver has shown over the course of this weekend. Ruben Fernandez, for his own measure, will be a little bit disappointed as well in 13th position. But all in all, everybody's made it through as you would expect. Ruben Volt is the quickest driver. Nacho Montenegro in second position. Franco Girolami from Jimmy Claret, Nico Baldan and Aurelien Comte are the top six. And there is Sandro Paletti's very sad looking Audi. Thumbs up from the cockpit. I'm okay, he says to the marshals. But he's going to need a drag out to get through there. Very big shame for the Italian driver. There is the snatch vehicle though. Must be horrendously difficult to work in these weather conditions with the full overalls on and the helmet. So again, massive, massive applause to the marshals, not just here at the circuit Ricardo Tormo, but all around the world. If it wasn't for them, we couldn't do what we do. And they often do absolutely fabulous, fabulous work. So big thank you to marshals all around the world for helping us put on what we hope is entertaining shows for everybody watching trackside and back at home. So there we go then. Looking resplendent, it has to be said, and this is confirmation of our Q1 results. It is Ruben Volt, who is the head of the times from his teammate, Nacho Montenegro. Franco Girolami was the third quickest driver from Jimmy Claret. Great job from Jimmy Claret, up there in fourth position. Nico Baldan manages to come through in fifth, and then Aurelien Comte, the third of our championship contenders. Won't be too concerned at this stage with sixth position. Santiago Concepcion right at the checkered flag, put in a time to get himself into the top seven. Levente Lasonche, eighth quickest despite beaching the car. Victor Davidovsky's ninth. Jenson Brickley rounds out our top 10. Then it is Victor Anderson and Felipe Fernandez that will be the drivers that go through into Q2. And then starting 13th position for both races, Ruben Fernandez in 13th, Nicholas Taylor on debut in 14th place from Giovanni Scamardi. Scamardi will be frustrated. He's not made it through to Q2. It's going to be difficult to help his teammate Comte from there. Sandro Paletti, a good qualification in terms of lap time, a little bit suboptimal to end it in the gravel. Victor Fernandez, 17th, and Daniel Teixeira is 18th and last in the Hyundai Elantra, 3.7 seconds away from the quickest time. So, luckily for us as a broadcast and for you good folks watching at home, our three championship contenders are very much through. And there is Sandro's Audi again. Fantastic work for the marshals, very quickly extracting that car from the gravel. Hopefully that means Q2 will be able to start as per the schedule, and we can see who's the quickest of them all for the final time in 2024 in TCR Europe. I do love me a pit lane, I must say. And this is looking very, very nice indeed as the cars line up, getting ready for the notification that the track is clean and clear and safe to go racing. When that light at the end of pit lane goes green, expect a chorus of TCR touring car engines to rev up, and everybody very keen to make sure they've got the prime position in the queue to get out on track and set their Q2 qualification time, which, let's remember, this Q2 session will set the grid. The top 10 will be the top 10 for race 1, and we'll reverse that for race 2. 10th position in Q2 will start in pole on race 2 on Sunday. 11th and 12th in this session will be 11th and 12th in both races. Not the kind of place that you want to find yourself, it has to be said. So it's very, very important. You don't want to be playing the game and try and get the reverse grid pole. It could go very, very wrong indeed. So last time we get to see who's the quickest of the quick in TCR Europe in 2024. And it has been, I must say, an absolutely sensational year. 5 points coming into this round, separating our top two. 31 points separating our top three. We've got champions from different TCR categories. We've got returning champions from TCR Europe. We've got race winners from different TCR categories around the world. That's not a TCR car, that's Mercedes. But of course, don't be confused, it's not a new brand in the series. But nevertheless, it is a really stacked field of talented drivers and very much putting on a show for us all. And here we go then. We go green for the last qualification session of the year. Who's going to put it on pole? Who's going to take the points? And who will have the advantage coming into race one later on this afternoon? The 23 of Nacho Montenegro leads us out of pit lane. ALM Motorsports, as I mentioned at the top of the show, are a team that are very much in contention for wrapping up the team's title, possibly at the conclusion of race one if things go their way. And looking at the pace of this car and their drivers, I think that's a very likely outcome indeed at the conclusion of race one. They're looking for a team's title, and they've been an incredible outfit of ALM Motorsports in 2024. So they will be very, very deserving champions. They lead the team's championship from SP Competition. Montland Motorsports down there in third, from Goat Racing in fourth, Baldan Group by Continua fifth, MAGP in the Soul, Lincoln Co in sixth. So it's fair to say that ALM Motorsports have done an incredible job. They've got so many very talented young drivers on their books. Nacho Montenegro, of course, being the rookies champion, and potential drivers champion Ruben Volt, the Estonian, another driver that's been so incredibly impressive. 2 wins this year for Ruben, showing lots and lots of raw pace. And then Levente Lasonche, also 2 wins for the Hungarian driver, as he's really impressed me, really stepped up from 2023 and is very much the real deal getting top touring car. So everybody then out there warming up their tyres. Just at the back of the shot there is the Montland Motorsports car of Franco Girolamo. So he's staying well out of the way of the traffic. It's Franco. Good idea in theory, but of course you'll be the first to the scene of any kind of dramas up front. So for Franco, let's hope it stays green and everybody keeps themselves onto the tarmac as there we go through the opening corner. Montenegro using all the racetrack and a little bit more, it has to be said. Green wing mirrors on the number 23 ALM car, signifying Nacho Montenegro is the man behind the wheel. He's had a win this year already. It's been very, very competitive. He's taken the rookie championship honours. First year in Europe, first year in TCR Europe. He won the very competitive TCR South America Championship last season, running to the canter. Really strong performance. He's come over to Europe, tested himself against the best that Europe has to offer, and it has to be said that the young Argentinian driver has categorically proven himself as not just a star in the making, but a star in the here and now. On the opposite end of the experience spectrum, Victor Davidovski. As we see on our screen there, the 110. Davidovski in third position in the Diamond Trophy as things stand. His first year for Montland Motorsports, once again alongside Franco Girolamo. Of course, more used to driving the Audi TCR car in recent memory, but Davidovski having a robust season. Did well last time out, got a couple of podium positions, did Victor. And he's hoping for a similar kind of payout in terms of points awarded this weekend. Really picking the season up towards the end of the year is Victor Davidovski. Our drivers crossed the line for their first throw of the dice, and Montenegro straight on the pace with a 40.6 to go quickest. Davidovski a 41.4, 8/10 behind, so Victor not quite at the forefront of where he needs to be as things stand. Aurelian Compton fight moves up now in a second place, 41.1. Jenson Brickley very quick off the marks as well in third position. But still Montenegro is the first driver to set a representatively quick time in Q2. As we expect, Montenegro very much at the sharp end of the field. Franco Girolami, 41.0, 4 tenths off in second place. So our championship leader, Franco Girolami, doing good work. Teammate to that man on your screen now, Victor Davidovski. He does well to move up into second place. Car number 23, a track limits in turn 1. Relevant lap time has been disallowed. That is Montenegro's current lap, as opposed to the lap that set him quickest. So no need to worry about that one. Montenegro will, of course, have to go again. He'll not be safe, I don't think, on a 40.6. I can see the lap times coming down a little bit as the session improves. And look at this. Our top 3 championship contenders in the top 3 positions in qualifying. You could not write this script. Let's see how things go. In terms of the spice of the championship, we could do with Aurelian Comp finishing ahead of Franco Girolami to close that 5-point gap down a little bit. But 5 points is neither here nor there, with 40 points on offer for a race victory. It's going to be intensity level 1000 when we go racing a little bit later on. Today there is Ruben Volt. He's moved up in the 4th with his first roll of the dice. Estonian driver, another driver, very, very young man. Very, very impressive young man. 2 race victories that he's taken already over the course of this season. He's got more pace than one can shake a stick at, it has to be said, in that ALM Honda. And I expect him massive things of Ruben Volt over the course of his career in years to come. Baldan, Nico Baldan moves up in second place. The Italian driver, 3 tenths away from Montenegro, now drops Girolami and Compt into 3rd and 4th position, respectively. So a good time for Nico Baldan. See a purple final sector for Jensen Brickley as well, but it's not enough to improve his lap. He stays in 7th. Santiago Concepcion again finds a ton of pace in the GOAT Racing Machine, up in a 3rd place. Absolutely sensational stuff for car number 33. Santiago very much digging around in the draw to find lap time and coming up trumps. A real nice job for Santiago. Goes against the run of play, actually, for what we've seen in free practice. Concepcion was 6th in FP1, down in 10th in FP2, but he's definitely saving the best for qualification, which is exactly where you want to be the quickest, in qualifying where it counts. And Santiago, buoyed by the home crowd, I am sure he's having one of his best qualification sessions that I think I remember seeing, actually, from the young Spaniard. So really, really good. I was talking up Santiago at the top of the show, and he's another one of those drivers. Weekend after weekend, you see the improvement as his confidence raises, experience raises. And I think he's going to be right up there with the likes of your Ruben Volts, Nacho Montenegros, Excel, Levante Lasonches, etc. as an absolute mainstay superstar for TCR touring cars in the weeks, months and years to come. So we see the 33 again, very committed on corner entry in the Honda. You've got to be committed around this circuit if you want to try and leverage all the lap time that the circuit is available to give you. This is an awful corner to get the car turned in. The rear end wants to swap ends as well. A little bit of a lock of the rear brake over the curb too. But be careful to stay on track limits. Can Santiago improve on this lap? It was green in sector 1. It's purple in sector 3. That's the 2nd position. Santiago Concepcion 2.5 tenths away now from Nacho Montenegro. Montenegro, for good measure, is on a outlap, but Santiago has been keeping his powder dry all the way through this weekend. He's showing pace that I would not have expected at this juncture. Really sensational stuff. GOAT Racing have had a bit of a dig around, and they found some pace in that Honda. Of course, a Spanish team on a Spanish racetrack looking for a big result. Pepe Oriola here today as well this weekend, overseeing things, and they're doing a great job in the hands of Santiago Concepcion. Second quickest provisionally as things stand, with just 1 minute and 40 left on the clock. Montenegro's on an outlap. Girolami as well, as is Aurelian Compt. Ruben Volt bolts up in a 3rd position as well. So Ruben keeping it a Honda affair in the top 3 places. Pit lane for Jensen Brickley, so he's going to have to get a bit of a shake on if he wants to get back out there and have another roll of the dice. 7th position for the British driver as things stand. So a very solid result for Jensen so far, I dare say. He's probably going to want a little bit more, if truth be told. There are many cars occupying the same bit of tarmac, it has to be said. Everybody's winding up for their next attempt. Jimmy Clary currently in 9th position is Jimmy. He's a little bit further down. There is Levy. They've got the car cleaned up and running, which is very nice indeed. Levente Lasonche then back out on the track still. 11th place as things stand. Hopefully everything's pointing in the right direction. There's no real underside damage. It is a bit of a confidence knocker, it has to be said, when you put the car off in the gravel during a session. When Levente Lasonche is gamely on his merry way. He had 23, car number 23, Montenegro again falls foul of track limits. And again, Levente Lasonche goes and says hello to a little bit of gravel, but there's no harm for the Hungarian on this occasion. He's in 11th place at 41.5, 9 tenths away from the ultimate pace. He does have a little bit of time left. Yes, he crosses the line with 10 seconds to spare. So Lasonche, if he wants it, if there's life in those Kumo tyres, can go again. And there is Ruben Volt. He looks to be on a bit of a slow lap, does Ruben, in 3rd position. Purple sector 1 for Franco Girolami down in 5th place. So Girolami is on a quick lap, fastest of all in the first section for Franco. Let's have a look at the number 72 Monlau Motorsports driver. Hopefully our championship leader is looking to move up from 5th position. He's ahead of Aurelien Comte as things stand. But if he can move, in fact, Aurelien Comte goes 3rd on his final roll of the dice. So while we're watching Ruben Volt on an in-lap, Aurelien Comte is doing very nice work indeed up in the 3rd position. His session is done. He ain't going to be improving from there, but the big question is, can Girolami do anything about it? He's green in sector 2. Is Franco Girolami. Will he move on? Victor Anderson moves up in a 2nd place from absolutely nowhere. The MAGP driver puts in the lap of the gods to get 2nd place. Fabulous stuff in Girolami. Up in a 2nd place then. A green 3rd sector, purple sector 1, green sector 2, green sector 3. Franco Girolami moves up in a 2nd. He's ahead of Aurelien Comte. That's going to pay out more points. He's extended his championship lead. Comte's day is over and done with. Where's our 3rd championship contender? Nacho Montenegro. Job done in provisional pole position. So Montenegro in pit lane. He's not going to improve, but he doesn't need to improve at all, because there you can see on the timing screens the difference between Montenegro and Girolami. 73 hundredths of a second. That is less. That is significantly less than the blink of an eye. And then 3rd place, Victor Anderson, as things stand in the provisional standings. Santiago Concepcion does a fabulous job, it has to be said, up there in 4th position. Aurelien Comte, our championship challenger, came in to this qualifying 5 points away from Franco Girolami. His time was only good enough for 5th position. Yes, it's a nip under 3 tenths of a second, but those 3 tenths of a second could be very painful indeed for the French driver. Great for us watching on the broadcast though, because he's got a charge in race 1. He's got to get the elbows out, and we know Aurelien can most certainly get the elbows out in that SP competition Cupra. So we're going to keep our eye on for that one this afternoon when we go racing. Ruben Volt was 6th as well. And that is Victor Davidovski, you see on your screen. 10th position for the Macedonian driver, which will be pole, of course, for the reverse grid race 2, subject, as always, the asterisk that goes against these things. These times are provisional, but of course, should there not be any kind of steward's inquiry, it'll be Davidovski at the head of the field. And with all this excitement, a little bit of mental maths, always dangerous. Franco Girolami remains the championship leader. If things stay as the timing screen suggests, it'll be a 9-point advantage he has over Aurelien Comte and a 29-point advantage over Nacho Montenegro. So Montenegro closes that gap a couple of points, and every single point helps. So he's certainly done some good work. And victory number 1 for Nacho Montenegro, 28 points in fact, is the advantage. So that's exactly what the Argentinian driver needed to do. And that qualification session, I think, folks, sets us up very nicely indeed. Thank you very much for what should be a very exciting race 1 that I'm absolutely looking forward to this afternoon. It's a great track. It's a great field of drivers. We've got such a tight grid as well. There is confirmation of the provisional qualifying times then. Nacho Montenegro on provisional pole from Franco Girolami. Victor Anderson, what a lap from the MAGP driver. 3rd position right at the very end, ahead of another driver deeply impressive, Santiago Concepcion in 4th. Aurelien Comte he has work to do, it's fair to say. From 5th place, he's just ahead of Ruben Volt, ALM Motorsport teammate of our pole sitter, Nacho Montenegro. Nico Balban will start from 7th place, ahead of another one of our debutants this weekend, Jenson Brickley. Good job from the British driver in 8th. Jimmy Claret does good work as well in 9th position, just ahead of Victor Davidovsky, who'll get the reverse grid pole. Levente Lasonche recovered the car from the gravel and also got across the line in 11th. And Felipe Fernandez is the last of our top 12 drivers in 12th position. Fernandez, that's very nice indeed for him in his bid to win the Diamond Trophy as well, to be in the top 10. Just needs to bring home a good result in race 1 later on today. Less than a second covers our top 12 drivers. That's how tight things are. 1 second across a 4 kilometre or just under 2.5 mile, if that's your unit of measure choice. 1 second covering 12 drivers. Very different cars and teams, experience levels as well. But one thing is for sure, we are set fair for what should be an absolutely fabulous race. And you can catch it all, of course, on the TCR Europe Facebook page or here on YouTube as well. It's later on this afternoon, so make sure you do pencil a little note in your respective diaries and come back for that one. It's the penultimate race of 2024. We could not be more set for a championship showdown. I don't think it's going to be decided in race 1, but it's certainly going to weigh the pendulum of opportunity in one driver or another's direction when we reach the checkered flag. And hey, Mr. Touring Car Racing, you know as well as I do, anything can and almost certainly will happen when you've got a tin-top touring car race. And this is the last time we race this year. So at the end of it, the drivers don't need to pack up and go away and come back in 2 weeks. They can get the elbows out and fight amongst themselves, which is sensational stuff. And I don't know about you folks at home, but I certainly enjoyed that qualifying. And it's only quali. Wait till we get racing. It's going to be spectacular. I definitely implore you all to come back again and see how our 3 championship challengers get on. Montenegro, 3rd in the standings, 1st on the grid, just ahead of his Argentinian compatriot, Franco Girolami. 2nd place man in the standings, Brilliant Compt, down in 5th, has got work to do. Could not be better positioned for a fabulous, fabulous weekend of racing. And I, for one, am looking forward to it. So I'm looking forward to seeing you all there as well. Great racing ahead in TCR Europe. Brilliant stuff. First pole for Montenegro, just when he needed it. Absolutely fantastic. So, from myself and the team, come back soon. It's going to be great. Thanks for watching. See you all in race 1, a little bit down the road.